The storm outside the space station screamed like a living thing. Metal walls shook under the force of the red wind. Lightning crawled across the black sky of planet Alaris 9. Inside, the lights flickered. Commander Ethan Reed stood by the reinforced window, staring into the endless storm. He had seen many worlds, many wars. But this planet felt different. It wasn't just dangerous. It felt alive, as if the air itself was watching him. Behind him, the soft hum of medical machines broke the silence. On the bed lay a girl, not human. Her skin shimmered pale blue under the dim lights, thin veins glowing faintly with silver light. Tubes ran from her body into a strange breathing mask that covered half her face. Her chest rose weakly. Every breath was a struggle. Ethan looked at the monitor. Her life signs were falling again. He clenched his jaw. "No, not now," he whispered. "You've got to hold on. He wasn't supposed to be here." The galactic law was clear. Humans were forbidden to interfere with alien biology. No treatments, no experiments, no saving. But when Ethan had found her, half buried in the ruins of the Alarian city, he couldn't walk away. She was just a child. Her people were gone, wiped out by the storm and poisoned air. She was the last one breathing. The only one left to remember a civilization that had once touched the stars. Ethan had broken every rule to keep her alive. He had built a breathing mask using both human and alien tech, a fusion of science no one would approve. It was the only thing keeping her heart beating. Hours passed in silence, broken only by the rhythmic beeping of the monitor. Then suddenly, like the sound changed, beep, 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 too fast, Ethan rushed to the bedside. Hey, stay with me," he shouted. Her fingers twitched. Her glowing eyes opened just a little, dazed and glassy. Then she spoke, her voice weak, almost a whisper. "It hurts." The air, inside. Ethan froze. "The air? You mean your mask?" Her hand moved shakily toward her face. "It burns, please." Her eyes filled with tears that sparkled like liquid light. "I took it off once before. It felt better." Ethan's heart pounded. "No, don't touch it," he said quickly. "You need that to breathe." She shook her head slowly. "Please, and it's wrong." "It's not mine." Her words cut through him. The mask was keeping her alive, but maybe he thought it was also killing her. His mind raced. The galactic scientists had warned that alien lungs processed air differently. If he had mixed the wrong filters, he could be poisoning her from the inside. He stepped back, sweat forming on his forehead. The lights flickered again. The storm outside roared louder, as if the planet itself was reacting to her pain. She gripped his wrist suddenly, her small hand trembling. "Please, take it off." Ethan's breath caught. He knew what that meant. If he took it off, she might die instantly. If he didn't, she might die slowly. Either way, it was on him. He stared at her, this fragile, glowing being, trusting him with her last breath. His chest ached. "You don't understand. If I take it off, you can't breathe our air." But she looked at him with such sadness, such pleading hope. "Then let me breathe mine," she whispered. The monitor began to scream with alarms. Her pulse spiked, oxygen dropping. Ethan's hands shook. His training screamed no, his heart screamed yes. He leaned close, voice trembling. "All right. But if I do this, you fight, you hear me? You don't give up." She gave the faintest nod. Ethan reached for the mask. His fingers hesitated on the latch. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and pressed the release. A hiss escaped, a rush of air mixed with blue mist. The mask fell away. For one terrifying second, she didn't move. Her chest stopped rising. Ethan felt his soul freeze, then she gasped. Her back arched, eyes wide, the blue veins across her skin flaring with bright light. The air around her shimmered, glowing particles floating like fireflies. "What the hell?" Ethan whispered, stepping back. The storm outside suddenly stopped. Dead silence. No thunder, no wind. Just the hum of the machines. And then she spoke again, her voice stronger, otherworldly. "You shouldn't have done that." "They'll come now." Ethan blinked. "Who'll come?" Her eyes glowed brighter. "The ones who made the law." The room went dark. The room was silent. The machines had stopped humming. Even the storm outside had frozen, as if the world was holding its breath. Ethan's heart pounded in his chest. His fingers still hovered near the fallen mask. The alien girl lay still, eyes glowing softly like stars caught in water. "What do you mean, they'll come?" Ethan whispered. Her voice trembled, but it carried a strange power now. "You broke the rule. You gave me breath that was not meant for me. The law will feel it. Her gaze shifted to the dark window. They always feel it. Ethan turned toward the glass. The storm clouds outside were gone, but something else moved in the sky. A silver light, faint but growing, cutting through the red horizon. His blood ran cold. He knew that glow. It wasn't lightning. It was a ship, not human, not friendly. The enforcers, he muttered. He had heard stories. Ships that appeared when someone crossed the line between species. They didn't just destroy the guilty. They erased every trace. Ethan's mind raced. He needed to hide her, needed to hide himself. He rushed to the console, fingers flying across the screen. The communication systems were jammed. Someone had locked them from orbit. The girl sat up slowly, pulling the thin sheet around her. She looked fragile but no longer weak. The blue glow from her skin painted the room with a soft light. "You shouldn't have saved me," she said softly. "Your kind will suffer for it." Ethan turned toward her. "You think I care about that?" He snapped. "I couldn't just let you die." She tilted her head, studying him. Humans, always chasing what they cannot control. For a moment her words stung, but there was no time for debate. The silver light outside grew brighter, now 3, now 5, forming a pattern in the sky. The enforcers were coming fast. Ethan grabbed a pulse rifle from the rack. "Listen to me," he said, kneeling in front of her. "If they find you here, they'll kill you, and me with you. We need to move." She looked at him with calm eyes. "You cannot run from them." "Watch me," he said. He pulled her to her feet. Her skin felt cold like moonlight. They ran through the narrow corridors of the station, lights flickering as power surged. Overhead, the metal roof groaned under the pressure of approaching ships. Ethan's boots echoed against the steel floor. The girl's breathing was quick but steady. For someone who had nearly died minutes ago, she moved with strange strength. "Who are you?" he asked between breaths.
"What are you to them?"
She hesitated, then whispered, "I am the last echo. My people, they made the first laws of the stars." Ethan frowned. "You mean galactic law?" She nodded. "Yes, we wrote it to protect life. But it was twisted. The enforcers do not protect anymore. They destroy anything that breaks the balance." They reached the lower hangar. The doors groaned open, revealing a small transport ship. Old, half-rusted, but still functional. Ethan quickly powered it up. The engines coughed and flared to life. "Strap in," he said. "We're getting off this rock." Before she could move, a sharp hum filled the air. Then, a blinding blue beam shot down through the ceiling, slicing through metal like paper. The blast threw Ethan to the floor. Sparks rained from above. The girl screamed, a voice echoed through the hangar, and they're cold, mechanical, emotionless. "Human subject Ethan Reed, you have violated Galactic Directive 01. Interference with alien life is punishable by elimination." Ethan struggled to his feet, coughing. He raised his weapon toward the beam. "You'll have to catch me first," he growled. The voice paused. Then, calm as ever, "Surrender the subject. The life form you protect is classified as extinct property." "Property?" Ethan shouted.
"She's alive!"
The girl stood beside him now, her eyes glowing fiercely. "They never saw us as life," she said quietly, "only as proof of their power." The ship above adjusted its beam, now a bright ring of energy forming around the hangar. The ground shook. Metal screamed. Ethan turned to her. "If they take you, they'll kill everyone who knows you exist. You understand that?" She looked at him, sadness in her glowing eyes. "Then why do you keep saving me?" Ethan smiled faintly. "Because I'm human. We don't stop just because the universe says so." He grabbed her hand and sprinted toward the transport. The beam followed, burning everything in its path. As they leapt into the cockpit, Ethan slammed the launch button. The ship roared upward, engines howling. The force threw them back as the hangar exploded behind them. For a heartbeat, they were free, racing into the sky. Then another voice whispered through the radio, softer, deeper, older. "You cannot escape the law, Commander Reed. You are part of it now." Ethan looked at the girl. Her glow dimmed as she whispered, "It has begun." The stars ahead turned blood red. The stars outside burned red like dying embers. The small transport ship shook violently as it climbed through Alaris 9's thin atmosphere. Inside, alarms screamed, lights flashed, and smoke filled the cabin. Ethan gripped the controls, his jaw tight. "Hold together, you old bucket," he muttered. Just a few more seconds. Beside him, the alien girl clutched her seat. Her glowing veins dimmed to a faint shimmer. "They are following us," she said quietly. They never stop. Ethan glanced at the radar, 6 ships in pursuit. Fast, silent, and closing in. Enforcers, he said under his breath. Damn it. He pulled the lever, sending the transport spinning into a dive. The hull groaned under pressure. Blue plasma trails flashed behind them as the enforcers fired. Bolts of light tore through the clouds, each one missing by inches. Why are they chasing you? Ethan shouted over the noise. The girl looked at him, her silver eyes full of something between fear and guilt. Because I carry what they lost, she said. What does that mean? She hesitated, then whispered, the blood of stars. Before he could ask more, a blast hit the left wing. The ship spun out of control. Ethan cursed, fighting the controls. They were falling, fast. He slammed the emergency thrusters. The ship shook, burning through the air. Hold on, he yelled. With a deafening crash, they hit the ground. Metal screamed. Sparks flew. Dust filled the cabin, then silence. Ethan coughed, blood on his lip. The front glass was cracked but not broken. You alive? The girl nodded weakly. Her skin flickered, light fading. We must leave. They will come. Ethan forced the hatch open and stepped outside. They had crashed in a canyon, jagged rocks glowing faintly from the storm energy. The red sun was setting, painting everything in firelight. The air buzzed with static. He could already hear the distant hum of the enforcer ships above. We've got maybe 5 minutes, he said. Come on. They climbed out of the wreck and ran through the narrow canyon, boots crunching against stone. Ethan's rifle was slung over his back, his other hand gripping a small data core he had grabbed from the control panel. Inside it, every medical record, every bit of proof that she was alive. If he could get that to a human base, maybe, just maybe, someone would help. The girl stopped suddenly. Her hand brushed a glowing mark on the canyon wall, a strange spiral that pulsed faintly. Her eyes widened. This place, it's part of my world, Ethan frowned. You mean your people built this? She nodded slowly. Long ago. Before the storms. Before the law. Her voice softened. We tried to bring life to dead worlds, but the others feared our power. So they made the law, to control what we could create. Ethan felt a chill. So the law wasn't made to protect life. It was made to control it. She looked at him sadly. Yes, and now it hunts anything born outside its rules. Thunder rolled above them. A shadow passed across the canyon floor. The enforcer ships had found them. Run, Ethan shouted. They sprinted toward the canyon's end. Behind them, plasma fire exploded against the rocks. The girl stumbled, but Ethan caught her hand, pulling her forward. Suddenly, she stopped again, standing before a wall carved with glowing symbols. Her hands pressed against it. Help me, she said. I can open it. Ethan aimed his rifle at the sky, firing at the pursuing drones. Hurry! The symbols began to shift, glowing brighter. The rock split open with a deep rumble, revealing a hidden passage, a tunnel leading underground filled with pale blue light. Go! Ethan pushed her through and followed just as the first blast hit the canyon above. The entrance sealed shut behind them. Inside, it was silent. The air was cool and calm. The walls glowed with strange energy, like veins of light running through the earth. The girl turned to him, her face soft with relief. We are safe. For now. Ethan leaned against the wall, breathing hard. You better start explaining. What is this place? She looked around. It's a cradle. A place where life began. Ethan frowned. You mean, your people made life? Her eyes glowed. Not just ours. Many forms and even yours, Ethan froze. What? She nodded slowly. Humanity wasn't born on Earth. You were one of our experiments. Life made from starlight and dust. He stepped back, stunned. You're saying humans were created by your people? Yes, she whispered. And that's why they will never let you save me. Because if you do, the truth will rise again. Ethan stared at her, his mind spinning. The enforcers, the law, the storm. It all made sense now. The galaxy wasn't built on peace. It was built on secrets, and he had just become the first human to uncover one. Far above, unseen through the rock, the enforcer ships circled the canyon. Their leader spoke in a cold metallic voice. Lock all systems. The human carries the forbidden truth. No one leaves this world alive. The tunnel went on forever. Smooth walls glowing with gentle blue light, carved with patterns older than memory. The air was warm, heavy with energy that hummed like a heartbeat. Ethan walked slowly, his rifle ready. his mind full of questions he could barely understand. The alien girl walked beside him, her glow reflecting off the ancient walls. She looked calm, almost peaceful now, as if the place itself was giving her strength. "This is where it began," she whispered. "Where the first life was born." Ethan frowned. "You mean your people made this?" She nodded. "We built the cradles on many worlds. Each one was a seed of life. Some failed, some grew." Her eyes met his. "Your world was one that grew." Her words echoed in his mind. Humans, born from alien hands. It didn't feel real. But everything he'd seen, the technology, the energy, the law, it all pointed to one truth. The galaxy had lied to them for centuries. "Why didn't anyone tell us?" Ethan asked quietly. "Because you were not supposed to know," she said. "The law erased every record. It made your kind believe you were alone." They stopped at a wide chamber deep beneath the surface. In the center stood a tall crystal pillar glowing softly. It pulsed with the same rhythm as her veins, the same silver light. She stepped closer, placing her hand on it. The crystal reacted instantly. The room filled with a deep, soft hum. Symbols appeared on the walls, spinning slowly like constellations. Ethan stared. "What is that?" She smiled faintly. "It's a memory." The pillar brightened, and suddenly Ethan saw visions in the air. Golden beings walking across stars. Planets rising from dust, oceans forming. Then humans, crawling, walking, building fires under alien skies. The images shifted. War, fear, the rise of the law. The golden beings turned cold, mechanical, enforcing rules to protect their control. Ethan stumbled back. "You created life, and then you caged it." She looked down sadly. "Not me, my ancestors. They believed they were protecting balance. But they became gods who feared their own creations." The pillar dimmed. Silence returned, broken only by the hum of the machines. Ethan rubbed his face, his heart pounding. "So the enforcers, they're your people's machines?" She nodded slowly. "Yes, they were made to protect life. But when we vanished, they began to protect the law instead." Ethan looked around the chamber. There has to be a way to stop them. "Something here, anything," she hesitated. "There is, but it's dangerous. The cradle has a control core, a link to every enforcer in this sector. If we can reach it, we might rewrite their command." Ethan's eyes lit up. "You mean turn them off?" "Maybe," she said, "or wake them." Ethan frowned. "Wake them?" Her expression darkened. "The enforcers were built from my people's own essence. They sleep inside the code. If I connect to the core, I can speak to them, but it could destroy me." He shook his head immediately. "No, you just got your breath back, and I'm not letting you die again." Her gaze softened. "You broke the law to save me once. Would you break it again to save your kind?" Ethan stared at her, torn between fear and duty. "There has to be another way." Before she could answer, the ground trembled. Dust fell from the ceiling. A red light flashed along the tunnel walls. "They found us," Ethan muttered. The girl turned toward the glowing pillar. "I can open the core from here, but you'll have to hold them off." Ethan raised his rifle. "Then let's make it count." She closed her eyes, pressing both hands to the crystal. Light spread through her body, bright and blinding. The symbols on the walls spun faster, forming rings of pure energy. Ethan ran to the tunnel entrance. The sound of footsteps echoed closer, mechanical, heavy, unstoppable. Then he saw them. Tall silver figures walking out of the darkness, their faces blank, their eyes glowing white. "The enforcers. Contact confirmed," one of them said in a hollow voice. "Terminate the human." "Retrieve the anomaly," Ethan fired. Plasma bolts hit the first two, melting through metal. But more came, 10, 20, unstoppable. Behind him, the light from the chamber grew stronger. The girl floated above the crystal now, her body glowing like a star. "Almost there," she shouted. "Keep them back." Ethan ducked behind a pillar, reloading. Sparks flew as plasma blasts hit the stone. "You better hurry," he yelled. "I can feel them." She whispered. "They remember me." Her voice echoed with strange harmony, part human, part something far greater. The enforcers froze mid-step. Their eyes flickered. Ethan peered out from cover. The machine stood still, trembling. Then one spoke, softer now. "Mother?" The entire room shook as the crystal flared to life. The machines dropped their weapons, lowering their heads. Ethan's jaw dropped. "You did it." The girl turned slowly, her voice faint but calm. "No, I woke them. But they're confused. I must guide them. Her glow dimmed suddenly. She fell forward, unconscious. Ethan caught her before she hit the ground. Above them, the ceiling cracked open. Light poured in, not from the enforcers, but from the sky itself. A massive ship hovered above the canyon, casting a shadow miles long. A deep, ancient voice echoed through the air. "Return the seed, human. You play with fire older than stars." Ethan looked up, clutching her tightly. "Then let's burn together," he whispered. Dust rained from the ceiling as the giant ship hovered above the canyon. Its shadow swallowed the land, and its engines hummed with an ancient godlike sound. The ground shook with every heartbeat. Ethan shielded his eyes, staring up through the broken roof of the cradle. The ship was unlike anything he'd ever seen, smooth, black, alive. It didn't shine. It breathed. Streams of light flowed along its surface like veins. In his arms, the alien girl lay motionless, her glow fading fast. The machines, the enforcers, stood frozen around them, their heads bowed as if they were kneeling before a god. Then came the voice. It wasn't sound, it was vibration echoing inside Ethan's skull, deep and cold. "Human. You touched what was forbidden." Ethan's body trembled. "Who are you?" he shouted into the air. "We are the makers. We wrote the law. You have broken it." He gritted his teeth. "I saved a life. You disturbed balance. That life was meant to end." Ethan looked down at the girl. Her chest rose weakly.
"She's a child," he yelled.
"She didn't ask for any of this." The air shimmered. From the ship's shadow, a figure began to descend. A tall being made of light and shadow, neither male nor female. Its face was hidden behind a mask of gold, its eyes glowing like stars. It hovered above the ground, watching Ethan like a parent studying a disobedient child. "You humans were born from our design," the being said. "We gave you choice, yet every time you use it to defy." Ethan stood firm, his rifle still clutched in his hand. "Maybe that's what makes us human." The being tilted its head slightly, curious. "You think defiance is strength?" "I think it's survival," Ethan said. "If we hadn't fought against the impossible, we'd still be crawling in the dirt. We built ships. We reached the stars. And now you want to erase that because I saved one girl?" The being's eyes dimmed. "She carries what must never awaken, the blood of stars. Through her veins flows the key to creation. If it spreads again, worlds will burn." Ethan swallowed hard. "Then maybe the problem isn't her. Maybe it's you, playing gods while everyone else pays the price." The being didn't answer right away. Its gaze shifted to the girl who stirred weakly in Ethan's arms. Her silver eyes fluttered open. "You came," she whispered. "Child of Alaris," the being said gently. "Your people defied the law long ago. We ended them to save the stars." She tried to sit up, her voice trembling. "You called it saving. We called it silence." Ethan looked at her, confused. "What does that mean?" Her eyes filled with light. "They erased every world we touched. Every creation that wasn't theirs." She turned toward the Maker. "You destroyed us because we gave life freely." The being's glow dimmed, as if burdened by memory. "You lost control of what you made." "It had to end," Ethan stepped forward. "Then end me too, because I won't let you finish her." The being stared at him for a long moment. Then its tone changed, softer, almost curious. "Why risk everything for her?" Ethan's voice cracked but stayed firm. "Because that's what we do. Humans save what we can, even when it costs everything." For a moment the being was silent. Then the ground rumbled again, this time from below. The crystal pillar in the chamber flared to life. The enforcers, still kneeling, began to hum in unison. The girl's body glowed brighter, her pulse racing. "Ethan," she whispered. "It's waking inside me." Ethan looked at her, panic rising. "What's waking?" "The cradle," she gasped. "It's responding to my blood." Light exploded from the pillar, flooding the room. Ethan stumbled back, shielding his eyes. The enforcers began to move, not attacking, but forming a circle around her. The Maker's voice boomed. "Stop this. The balance will collapse." But it was too late. The girl stood, her feet lifting from the floor. Energy rippled from her body, shaking the ground. "I remember now," she said softly. "The blood of stars was never meant to destroy. It was meant to create." The walls of the cradle cracked, revealing massive roots of glowing energy spreading into the earth, spreading life itself. Flowers bloomed from stone. The air shimmered with color. Ethan stared in awe. You're reviving the planet. The Maker's light flickered violently. You don't understand. Life unchecked becomes chaos. The girl turned toward the being. Then let the universe learn to grow again. The ship above roared, beams of light targeting the cradle. Ethan grabbed the girl and dove for cover as explosions tore through the walls. When the dust cleared, the girl stood again, glowing brighter than ever. She faced the sky, voice calm but powerful. You made the law to stop us. But you forgot we made you first, the Maker froze. For the first time there was fear in its glowing eyes. Ethan stepped beside her. What happens now? He asked. She looked at him, her expression both gentle and sad. Now we finish what we started. The light around her pulsed, spreading upward into the sky, swallowing the Maker's ship in pure white energy. Ethan covered his face as the world vanished in blinding light, and then silence. When the light faded, there was no sound. No ship, no storm, only silence. Endless, heavy silence. Ethan opened his eyes slowly. His head throbbed, his lungs burned. The world around him was different. The once red sky of Alaris 9 was now pale blue, filled with drifting white clouds. The wind was soft, warm, alive. He blinked, stunned. It's breathable. He sat up slowly, brushing the dust from his torn uniform. Around him stretched fields of strange glowing grass waving gently in the wind. The air shimmered with light particles like tiny stars falling to the ground. The cradle, the ancient chamber, was gone. Only fragments of crystal and broken stone remained, half buried under the new life that had already begun to grow. Ethan's voice cracked as he whispered, She did it. He looked around desperately. Lyra? His heart pounded. Where are you? No answer. Only the sound of the wind. He stumbled across the field, calling again. Lyra! At the edge of a glowing pond, he saw something. A faint silver shimmer in the water. He ran toward it. Floating there, half submerged, was the broken mask he had built for her. The same one she had begged him to remove. He picked it up slowly, staring at it. His hands trembled. You can't be gone. Suddenly, a soft hum filled the air. Ethan turned sharply, rifle raised out of habit. From behind the trees of light, one of the enforcers emerged. But it was different now. Its silver armor glowed with soft blue lines, and its movements were slow, almost gentle. It stopped a few meters away, then knelt down, a gesture of peace. Ethan didn't lower his weapon. You again. The machine spoke, but its voice was no longer cold. We are not as before. The link is broken. The law has ended. Ethan frowned. What happened to her? To the girl? The enforcer's head tilted slightly. The one who breathes light became part of the core. Her essence is in every living thing now. Ethan's throat tightened. You mean, she's gone? Not gone, the machine said. Changed. She gave her life to awaken the world, to free us, and you. Ethan sank to his knees, staring at the glowing grass. The words barely made sense. He had watched her rise into light, watched her vanish, and now the world was reborn because of her. She didn't just save this planet, he whispered. She changed everything, the enforcer nodded slowly. The Makers are gone. Their power is undone, but fragments of their code remain, inside you. Ethan's head snapped up. Inside me? It extended a metallic hand. The cradle linked your life to hers. You carry the signal now, part human, part light. Ethan stared at his hand. Faint silver veins glowed beneath his skin. His pulse felt stronger, deeper, connected. What am I supposed to do with this? He asked quietly. Decide, the enforcer said. Your species is free to choose again. But freedom always births chaos. They will come looking for you, Ethan Reed. Others who fear what you have become. Ethan looked toward the horizon. In the far distance, he could see the broken remains of his old ship. And beyond that, the stars rising through the new sky. He stood up slowly, clutching the broken mask. Then let them come. The enforcer bowed its head. We will follow, until the light calls again. It turned and walked into the distance, fading into the blue mist. Ethan stood alone, staring at the reborn planet. Every breath he took carried warmth, a strange peace but also pain. He could still hear her voice in the wind, soft like a whisper carried from far away. You gave me air. Now I give it back to you. His eyes filled with tears. For the first time in his life, the soldier felt small, not weak but humbled, standing in the middle of a miracle he could never explain. He looked up at the sky. The stars shimmered faintly like they were watching him. "Lyra," he said quietly, "if you're still out there, I'll finish what you started." A faint light appeared on the horizon, a glowing tower of crystal reaching for the clouds. Ethan smiled faintly. He tightened his gloves, slung his rifle across his back, and began walking toward it. Each step echoed softly on the new earth. Each breath carried a spark of her gift, life reborn from death. But somewhere far above, beyond the clouds, unseen eyes watched. A ship drifted silently in orbit, black, ancient, wounded. Inside, golden symbols flickered weakly. A voice spoke in the dark. "The humans survived. The code has merged." Another voice answered, colder. "Then the game begins again." 3 days had passed since the world was reborn. The storms were gone. The sky was blue for the first time in centuries. Alaris 9 breathed again. But Ethan Reed couldn't rest. He had built a small camp near the glowing tower he'd seen on the horizon. It pulsed softly at night like a heartbeat beneath the earth. The air around it hummed with strange energy, the same rhythm that once came from Lyra's chest. Ethan sat by a small fire, the broken breathing mask lying beside him. He turned it over in his hands. Every time he looked at it, he could almost hear her voice. "You gave me air. Now I give it back to you." He smiled faintly, though his eyes were tired. "You sure did," he whispered. The enforcers, or what remained of them, had stayed away. They no longer hunted him. They wandered the plains, silent and free, as if they were learning what it meant to simply exist. But Ethan knew the peace wouldn't last. Something still lingered in the sky. He could feel it. A pulse, faint but dark, like the heartbeat of a predator waiting above the clouds. That night, as he stared at the stars, a voice echoed softly through his mind. "Ethan," he froze. The fire crackled beside him. "Lyra, you can hear me." Her voice was gentle, distant, like wind across water. He stood up slowly, looking toward the glowing tower. "Where are you?" "Everywhere," she said. The cradle spread through the air, through the soil. "I am part of this world now, but a piece of me stayed with you." Ethan looked at his hand. A faint silver veins glowed under his skin. This connection?" "Yes, the light joined us. You are the first bridge between human and creator. The Makers feared that bond, but it is the only way forward." He took a deep breath. "The Makers aren't gone, are they?" A pause. "No. They hide beyond the veil. The space between stars. Watching. Waiting." Ethan clenched his fists. "Then they'll come for me." "They will. But you have something they never will. Choice." Before he could answer, the ground trembled. The tower's light flared bright white, shooting into the sky. The stars above shifted, forming strange lines, constellations rearranging like symbols in an alien code. A deep hum filled the air, growing louder, stronger. Ethan shielded his eyes as a massive shadow broke through the clouds. A ship, enormous and black, descended slowly. It wasn't like the Makers' golden vessels. This one was darker, heavier, built like a fortress. Ethan's heart pounded. "You said they'd wait," he muttered. "They changed their minds," Lyra's voice whispered. The ship stopped above the tower. Its surface opened, revealing a single glowing eye, a weapon charging. Ethan looked up. "You want to wipe it all out again? You'll have to come through me." He ran toward the tower, every muscle screaming. The glow under his skin spread to his arms, his chest, his neck. Silver light flared from his eyes as if Lyra's soul had awakened inside him. The ship fired. A beam of golden energy shot down, but the tower responded. Blue light burst upward, meeting the beam in midair. The ground shook violently, the sky tearing apart in a storm of light and thunder. Ethan reached the base of the tower and slammed his hands against it. "Lyra, I need you." Her voice echoed, stronger now. "Then breathe with me." He felt it, energy surging from the ground into his veins. The pain was unbearable, but he didn't stop. The silver glow turned blinding white, merging with the tower's energy. Above, the golden beam shattered. The black ship cracked open, burning from the inside. Ethan screamed, the light pouring out of him, shooting through the sky, wrapping around the ship like chains of lightning. "You can't destroy what we are," Lyra's voice thundered. You can only fear it. The ship exploded in silence and a flower of light spreading across the sky. Then slowly the pieces faded into dust. The tower's glow softened. The wind fell quiet again. Ethan collapsed to his knees, breathing hard. His skin still shimmered faintly, the silver veins pulsing like stars. "Lyra," he whispered. "We did it." "You did it," she said softly. "You chose life over fear. Remember that, Ethan? Every breath you take carries both of us," he smiled weakly. "Guess that makes us even." "No," she whispered. "It makes us one." The connection faded, but the peace stayed. Ethan looked around, at the glowing trees, the blue sky, the soft hum of reborn life. He walked to the edge of a hill and looked up at the stars. They were brighter now, alive, moving like they were breathing. He spoke quietly, almost to himself. "The galaxy has laws, but humans have hearts. Maybe that's our greatest weapon." He stood there for a long time, the wind brushing against his face, carrying the faint echo of her laughter. Far away across the stars, hidden ships of the old makers watched the light of Alaris 9 spread across the void. And for the first time in 1,000 years, even they stayed silent, afraid of what one human heart had done. A human broke the law of the galaxy to save one dying child. In doing so, he reminded creation itself that love, not law, is what keeps the universe alive.